Have you ever run into the situation that you want to go on your phone to do one task, but you end up actually on social media for like a couple hours? And so I definitely has experienced this so many times and a lot more frequent recently. And so today we're going to talk about 3 major factors that cause us to have distractions and kills our productivities and our workflow. And we're gonna come up with some solutions that help you to actually overcome these distractions. So I put timestamps on each sections for today's topic. You're welcome to skip around, but please stay till the end to see some of the strategies that you can actually reduce these causes for distractions. Let's get into today's video. So welcome to my channel. My name is Amy. I make weekly videos on self-development and productivity tips. Today we're going to talk about how to not be distracted and what's the 3 big factors that cause us to always be distracted all the time. If you guys have watched my last weekend video, you're noticing that I was talking about how much project I have now, and I have a podcast to run, and I have so many other things that I want to go into a workflow. But actually this week, I didn't really quite get a lot of things done. I always end up like, coming to the computer and saw 10 and 20 tabs opening. So the whole entire morning just gone and I wasn't really getting anything done. Even I was just trying to sit down and get some receipts scanned into my phone. But I end up actually on my Instagram again for like at least 30 minutes to just watch other people like playing violin excerpts and stuff. So the time that I didn't really wasting on random websites, I thought I was really doing the important work. But I was actually just moving pre-existing materials from one location to another app because I found another app maybe works better. So sometimes we seem to be really busy, like we're working all the time, but the actual productivity is 0. So the #1 factor that causes distraction is actually deprivation of sleep. And distraction is the #1 killer for our productivity. Because I didn't use the time wisely during the day, my sleep was off because I tried to hit some deadlines and I stayed up till 3. This vicious cycle goes on to the second day. Because when you are very sleepy, it's very hard for you to concentrate. I was hardly waking up on time. I used to be waking up 7 o'clock in the morning or even 6:30. But now, because I went to bed at 3, by the time it was 10 o'clock in the morning, I still feel so drowsy. Coffee to help you to wake up, right? But actually, I quit coffee now, and we'll talk about that in another video. Let's go back to the topic. And my morning routine right now is basically just breakfast, and that's it. Maybe being distracted on social media. So you see the point here, it's a cycle, it's a vicious cycle. And the sleep deprivation just caused our distraction to be 10 times worse. And I can tell you those nights that I stayed up late, I did not get anything done. Like last Friday, I hit the deadline for my podcast. And so I actually had trouble to come up with a really good topic. And that day I was already really tired. But at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was still up trying to write a script for my new podcast episode. But I end up actually having to go to sleep at 3 a.m. without finishing any of these scripts. But the truth is, all the scripts that I written was actually in the morning when I woke up. Although I didn't feel great because I was still lack of sleep, but it was far more productive than that 3 in the morning. Because your brain is tired, it reacts so much slower when it's during the daytime, when during the work hour. If you think about how dangerous it is being sleep deprived while driving. So the research found that the drivers who reported having less than 4 hours of sleep had 15.1 times the odds of responsibility of car crashes. Micro sleep happens when you are driving and while you are sleep deprived, but that happens during our work too. And if we're really tired, we might have these micro sleep during the time we work. So we make more mistakes and we just work slower. And our brain is likely to seek out for distractions to have some rest. It takes a lot less thinking to consume content on social media, scrolling through your Instagrams, than writing a paper, writing some contents. So solution here is just to please get enough sleep. Well, I know I have that kind of issues that I can basically go to sleep really easily, but I sometimes don't feel really sleepy. I think, yeah, of course, one of the problem is like some people just drinking coffee really late. So try to not drink coffee after 2, and so the caffeine can just stay diluted in your system. So our body does run on a circadian rhythm. So if you force your body to go into a different clock, in China, they actually talked about how your kidney and all your organs will replenish themselves, will detox themselves during the night at certain hours, certain time. So if you don't go to sleep at a certain time, and they will not be able to fully recover. And so, you know, in the long run, it's not going to be well for your, of course, your physical body. I think we are right now trying to fix this problem is that even though we know all these bad things, just like people knows that they don't wear masks and then they might get COVID, but they still don't. Or people knows that sleep late is really bad, like I know, and I slept 3 in the morning. A couple of days in a row that I was sleeping so late. There was one day, literally 5 a.m. when people get up, that's when I got to bed and I slept like 2 hours. My teaching was just really bad. I wanted to apologize to some of my students just because I wasn't functioning that well. And this is definitely for me. I don't want to become the hypocrite, which I did, kind of. Like, I told everyone you should sleep early, take care of yourself on Friday night. But then I realized, shoot, I have a deadline and I have to stay up. But now, you know, time after time, I really learned that it's not going to make me more productive. It's not going to hit the deadline if I don't get enough sleep. Now, the factor number 2 that caused us to be really distracted all the time is that we don't have a clear vision. I mean, we don't have a clear vision for our goals and our tasks. So you might say that, oh yeah, I write all these, you know, to-do lists on my agenda. I already blocked out my schedule, and this is the big problem for me too. Although I set my day, I have my agenda, I have my goals. Once I close that notebook agenda, I pretty much just forgot about what I need to do next. Unless it's a study with me, a live stream. Now, if you also experience this, the reason is because we haven't visualized it. If you write down your goal, write down your agenda, but the goal without visualization is going to be only stay on that piece of paper. And I tend to go onto my most familiar, most frequently used app when I pull out my phone. But if you close your eyes to visualize your goal, what exactly you need to accomplish, it's more likely to just ignore those distractions that is not on our to-do list. So one of the strategy I think is meditation. I think meditation is the best tool for helping us to concentrate and focus on our task. Is to practice concentration in order to achieve mindfulness itself. If we cannot be able to concentrate, we cannot achieve that mindful state. So I found this interview talked about that meditation is the same way. It's about pulling energy into one place, having an agenda for that energy, telling what that energy needs to focus on, changing the vibration of that energy and changing the frequency of the energy to the frequency you want, and you send it back. Basically sit down and then do the work you need to do, because your energy is more focused and driven towards the goal, towards the task. Now, big factor number 3 to cause us to be distracted is actually the cluttered workspace. Maybe living space too. I get that sense of stress when I just sitting in front of a pile of books and, you know, the clutters on my desk. But here I'm talking about more than just a physical workspace, and also digital workspace too. Have you ever had 20 tabs opening at the same time, and to a point that you cannot find where is your current tab? And I literally had that so many times recently. The problem is not when you're trying to research on a topics for, like, for me, I'm doing dissertation, or you're working on a project and just trying to save all these things at once and you wanted to reference each other. But the problem is actually when you finish those works, or you are halfway and you're moving on to a different subject, and you left those tabs open. And you might think that we're gonna come back to these tabs later, but they actually become the distraction for your next project. There's so many times that I just sit down and had a really clear vision in my head. Like I need to work on that YouTube banner. But other tabs that opens when I sit down first to see it. But as soon as I was going onto that tabs and glancing through, and my attention just got divided. I pretty much did everything else that is pretty useless than working on my banner. It's so easy for us to lose track when we have so many projects on our plate and you don't have a cleaner space to creating that focus for yourself. So for our solution here, maybe just organize your desk first or clean out the space first. You know, I one time had to put everything behind me and on the other side of the wall. At least you have a clean desk that when you sit down and you see this cleaner space, is helping you to really work faster. And for all these open tabs on your website, you don't need to close them up. You can save them as bookmarks, or you can actually, like me, I use Notion to just always use a web clip to go into my Notion directly as a resources. And the cleaner space really make me feel calm, and just, you know, the less is better. Sometimes when I see a clock hanging there on the wall, and so I don't think about, oh, it's time for me to have another snacks, or oh, it's time for me to make a bubble tea. And here I want to add a note for the musicians. I found the amount of concentration in practicing a certain piece is always a lot better than me doing some academic work. I think when we're practicing in front of a stand with only a metronome, maybe a timer, it's a lot easier to just concentrate and learn the only music that is left on your stand. So don't clutter your stand either. I think most of us don't. So this is the end. I hope you find my content useful, and I really need to take the action to put my sleep schedule back onto a normal human routine. I really have seen a negative impact on my health, on my eating pattern, and also on my mental clarity. Maybe my mood too. Sometimes I'm not really happy during the day just because I really want just to hit the pillow 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So just turn off your phone or your screens 30 minutes before your bedtime, like 11 p.m., something like that. Anything can wait. There's no one really need to respond to a message after midnight. Yeah. If you like this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification. I upload every Tuesday on any topics on productivity, healthy mindset, and anything related to personal growth. And I have another weekly Thrive Extract Musician podcast talking about my personal journey and conversations with my fellow musicians talking about productivities and other personal growth topics. And full interviews always going to be uploaded under my playlist Thrive Extract Musician podcast on my YouTube channel. Please check that out, and I'll see you guys next time. Right now 1:13. I need to go to bed, and that's it. Good night. Done.